Really? Sticky, slimy.
In this megasode, whoa, Bitcoin is currently testing the middle of the symmetrical triangle here on the 4-hour chart, and I think that the next time we come to one of these edges, we'll confirm the direction of the breakout of the symmetrical triangle. And you can see on this hourly chart, this seeming ascending triangle actually has the point of control of VPVR exactly at the middle, exactly where we're testing right now, around 10,730. And if we actually get a retest at the top of this line around this key level, then I think that will be a break to the upside. Score alert, guys, this pattern is coming to an end, so I believe we 100% will be seeing a climax of this pattern and an actual breakout of this pattern finally. For over the last month, we've been trading within this range. And as well, most importantly on this chart, we're having probably the biggest retest of the last year, and this of course will dictate the direction and momentum and volatility of Bitcoin and many other assets, in my opinion. As you can see, guys, if we go all the way back to this period back here, this is absolutely key. And so far we have been holding this. So in fact, if we get a confirmation here and continue upwards, that is extremely bullish for Bitcoin in the markets. But most importantly, in the US, we have had some massive news over the last week. And guys, if you notice on these charts, many assets, especially Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market in general, really have not budged that much because of this news at all. If you take a look at when the news was released and at Bitcoin's price, we have still seen massively reduced volatility. So is it good or bad that the price of Bitcoin has barely done anything with this dramatic news that has been pretty much unleashed day after day after day here in the US and across the broader world? Wow, welcome back, Misters, Sisters, and Fiat Fisters. Guys, we have so much to be delving into in this special Monday webisode update. Bitcoin on the verge of actually retesting some very key patterns and getting a break above, guys. And most importantly, something happening on a leading indicator for Bitcoin in the entire market is absolutely crucial for this week. It's finally back to the week instead of the boring weekend price action. And if we're going to be making some moves, in my opinion, it will 100% be the first few days of the week. Usually Monday through Wednesday is actually pretty exciting in the markets. And as we wind down to like Thursday, Friday, and then the weekend, things for the most part, especially over the past 2 months, have really kind of cooled off. Some less sizzle price action. But guys, we're about to jump into some very important news and some important price action for the rest of the market. Awesome. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and turn on those post notifications so you get updated when we upload new videos. And as well, drop your comment below to enter for the ledger. All you have to do is leave a comment below and make sure you are subscribed to the channel to enter. And as well, guys, we actually do have higher bonuses for the next 2 weeks for people that deposit on Bybit using our link. And as well, there are some trading fee reductions if you want to support the channel, and if you have experience trading only. I'll be going over more of that at the end of the webisode. Huge, guys. So Bitcoin has been within this symmetrical triangle since the very beginning of September after falling from about 12,500 back in the middle of August, right? That's pretty much where the market topped out over the last 6 months. 12.5 has been a huge area. That's when altcoins were also topping out, when everything went crazy. And we've kind of been in this downtrend since then. So symmetrical triangles typically don't necessarily have one direction that it favors for a breakout, but they are often actually considered continuation patterns of the trend, which, guys, this is kind of debatable. So we obviously broke down into this pattern, as you see here. So if this was kind of a continuation of this pattern, then we actually might be seeing a move to the downside, is what that actually might be showing as a higher likelihood. As if it is a continuation pattern, which it most often is, then it would continue most likely that move to the downside. But with that being said, we have to factor in a lot of other stuff, most importantly the higher time frame. So for example, on this weekly, guys, this is absolutely more important than the symmetrical triangle. So we have this symmetrical triangle here within the 4-hour chart. I mean, it's even noticeable, pretty noticeable within the daily chart, but it is only a month long. And what's more important is these longer time frames, guys. And as you can see, we have a symmetrical triangle that is about 3 years long. So obviously a 3-year long symmetrical triangle takes much more precedence than a 1-month symmetrical triangle. And with that being said, the most important factor within all of this is that we're currently bouncing above the golden pocket for the Fibonacci retracement here we just got another weekly close, and we are still holding above the 21-week moving average, guys. So we've been saying this since August and even September that holding this is by far the most key thing. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we have 6 weeks so far that we have been above this 21-week moving average. So again, momentum does not want to push down, and it looks as though Bitcoin might actually be heading more in the upwards direction as we're holding all of these key levels over and over and over again. And we see such low volatility, and usually within this time period, if we are going to actually break below this, there are plenty of opportunities that Bitcoin has not dropped below this level. So we're going to get back to that, but on this hourly chart, you see we do have some sort of an ascending triangle here within this same pattern, with the very clear resistance being right about 10,960, or just for the sake of making this even more valid, I think, right about 11,000 exactly. So if we actually move this line barely up, you can see here 11,000, we have gotten rejection over and over and over. You can see for about an entire week, we traded right in this range. We had 2 little spikes on this 1 hour chart. But again, keep in mind this is the 1 hour, so this was very quickly rejected at these levels. But you can see most of the trading was right here, exactly at 11,000. And then basically about a week later, on September 27th all the way to October 1st, we also got rejected basically at that same exact level, right around 11,000. So this level right here has been pretty concretely the area that Bitcoin has gotten rejected off very strongly. And it makes sense as well. It is the $11,000 level. But something very important with the support on the downside has to be mentioned here. And as well, you can see where we are right now with the VPVR is exactly where the center, the point of control of this VPVR is. And that's exactly what we're trying to break above right now, right? So again, I think we could actually be heading back up to get another retest of 11K, and shattering 11K would initiate a very big breakout, and we'll give you the target of that as well. But what I just said I wanted to go over again was this: we just have higher and higher lows, right? And as we talked about right here back on September 23rd, we never actually came back down to these levels of about 11,000 or 10,200. We recently found support at about 10,400, going all the way down to about 10,382, but ultimately about $200 above this last low. So again, this is looking very good in the sense that the structure is playing out nicely. And again, this could end up being bullish structure. So if this actually did break out to the upside, the target would actually be above $12,000, roughly about 12,100 US dollars, if this had a full breakout out of this ascending triangle. So if we go to this chart as well, that gives us the same breakout target here on the 4 hour. But ultimately what that would do is put us back above this last lower high, right? So again, that would initiate, in my opinion, very much more bullish momentum. And guys, if we take a really big zoom out, let's actually even put this on the weekly. We go from the 4 hour to the weekly. You can see that this blue line that goes back 7 years as support, this would be broken again, and that would be ultra bullish for the market, I think, right? So if we would get a positive break out of this current structure right now, that would put us back into bullish territory. As of right now, to get back above this line, we would basically need to get anything above 11,800. Now again, 11,800 is a very, very critical level. It's actually exactly where this point of control for the last, how long is this? About 3 months on this 4 hour chart. So for the last 3 months, the most volume traded on this chart is actually right at exactly 11,800. So again, no small task to get above this, but basically the breakout target of this would be exactly to this level. So again, that would be very interesting to see how the market reacts if that did happen. And what that would look like on this chart is putting us right exactly where this huge area of volume and huge area also of resistance is, right at this $11,800 level on this chart. And as you can see, this is like the last big area of volume, and that could easily actually get us to break above the most important level on these charts. The most important level on these charts is this blue box here. And after we break this blue box, then I think it's very, very likely that we could be setting and retesting to try and get above the all-time highs there, because technically, the all-time highs are all the way at 20,000, but realistically, and in terms of trading volume, the all-time highs, like I've always been saying, are actually more around 13 and 14,000, kind of like this area here. So for the most part, when we got rejected off of 12.5, that was fundamentally basically the level that we would need to get above before we actually start setting new all-time highs. Because remember, we barely traded above any of these levels. We barely even traded above 14,000, right? I mean, how long, what did we trade? Maybe a few weeks maximum above 14,000 US dollars. And guys, as you can see, once we get above this level right here where we got rejected last time, if we get yet another retest, I think it's very likely to the upside that we're going to be breaking and going much more bullish than people think. And that would basically be an exact repeat of back in the last bull market, where we trade between these two levels, the 786 and the golden pocket here for Bitcoin, which is exactly what we're doing now. As you see, we did get rejected as we came up the first time on 786, found support though, and then went off. And again, I still am looking at that scenario, guys, because that until we get an actual rejection below 10,000 US dollars, then we're still 100% valid and within this level. And another reason I think that's so big right now is because we've had so much news going on around the world where if the price of Bitcoin did want to drop, it probably would have done so already, because we've already had like fundamental things that could upset the market, that could shake the market. But guys, also with the SPX, this is the most important thing. We actually have not broken below our previous high from back in February of 2020, right? Before the massive crash, it was the all-time high until we recently set the all-time high back September 1st and 2nd. But before that, you can see, guys, this is such an important level to here, and we've still been holding that. So that's absolutely awesome to see. And actually, we're currently above the 21 and 50-day moving average, even though we just got a bearish cross right here with the 21 going below the 50-day. On the weekly, this is fine because we're still very much above the 21 week moving average, and that's exactly where we bounced. If we go here, you guys see we had a very strong wick there. So again, the momentum of the market actually is not looking too bad. It'll be interesting to see how everything happens with the Fed just printing unlimited money and all the inflation, to see if that's actually going to have an effect on these markets. But just technical analysis wise, if we didn't factor in any fundamentals about what's going on in the world, this looks very good. So it'll be very interesting to see this week how this plays out, because again, guys, if we get a strong bounce here, then I have no doubt Bitcoin's going to have a strong bounce. And I think Bitcoin will be breaking bullish out of this pattern and this pattern as well. And I think that would mean Bitcoin will be testing 14 and 13K very, very soon. So it'll be really interesting to watch this market, as again, already it's still really early in the day, but we're having a very bullish bounce in the SPX, which is very good for the rest of the market. Huge, guys. So if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and turn on those post notifications. Drop your comment to enter for this ledger, and make sure as well you're subscribed. And as well, if you have experience trading and want to support the channel, there's a $60 bonus for depositing 0.1 Bitcoin, $120 for depositing 0.2, and $300 for depositing 0.5 using my link below. And as well, there's still 20% off trading fees on Bybit for the next few weeks.